for 9 freaking weeks. I told you he'd show up. And I was fucking wrong all this time. This mask should be my true face. But wait, there was a post-credit scene. Mephisto, I'm dying on the hill. He's out there. Hello, WandaVision fans. My name is Chris. We have finally reached here the finale for WandaVision episode 9. What I'm going to be doing here for you guys is giving you my breakdown, my reaction, pointing out little Easter eggs, things you might have missed, but honestly just giving you my full entire season review, discussing whether this finale wrapped up everything we needed to know, are we satisfied, and of course, talking about that end credit and post-credit scene, because there's a lot to digest there. So be sure you guys leave me your thoughts down below, especially if you were somebody who had some big, wild, crazy fan theories and they didn't come true. I was saying Mephisto along, but like, at least I wasn't saying Reed Richards or Magneto. Can you imagine thinking that? But also in celebration of the end of WandaVision, I'll be doing a giveaway. I bought here a couple of extra shirts. I wore it in the side flick I made today. So if you want to be one of the ones to enter to win one of these t-shirts right here, just make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below that you want it. And heck, I'm even going to throw in Billy and Tommy, the Funko Pops that have sold out and are right now not available anywhere. So go ahead and do that if you want to be entered. So starting off with WandaVision episode 9, we pick up right where we left off with episode 8, right in the middle of the action. Wanda versus Agnes right here, and some of the first things I want to go ahead and touch upon. Instead of just kind of detailing bit by bit, I'm just going to be breaking down the answers to a lot of questions we were getting, and even some new questions that we have that didn't get answered. Some things here like Agnes confirms that she had the Darkhold, so that book in her hands was the Darkhold. It's not another book in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it also kind of confirms Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't really canon in the MCU because their version of the Darkhold looked completely different, and also it was in possession with Ghost Rider last time in that universe. It's kind of like what I've been telling you guys, if Kevin Feige wasn't directly involved with the storytelling of these other outside MCU properties, kind of like the Netflix superhero shows or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's not really considered canon in the mainstay MCU, and right here we know this is the Darkhold, and Agnes lets slip a bunch of other details that kind of blew my mind. One, she confirms Wanda is more powerful than Doctor Strange, because she said it right there with the power she has. The chaos magic is uncontrollable even to the Sorcerer Supreme, which is Doctor Strange. I think that's something fascinating they decided to add on, and probably another reason that Doctor Strange is going to want to contact Wanda and go on some sort of mission with her for his movie Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, because he needs to control that energy that is more powerful than he is. But before we get more reveals on that, we get the introduction of White Vision, that is Spectral Vision, coming into Westview to fight off Vision himself. And as you can tell from watching this episode, there wasn't really a huge big Luke Skywalker cameo. White Vision was always the Luke Skywalker cameo that they were talking about. Paul Bettany himself even confirmed it on Good Morning America that he was just trying to have some fun, be funny, saying that he was going to work with an actor he always wanted to work with, had amazing chemistry with, and it turned out to be himself. I can't even blame him. I think that's a hilarious troll. And even to me, I was pretty shocked at the fact that we got this white version of Vision in the show, so I consider it a big enough cameo that also has some big repercussions in the MCU, because one thing we find out is this is the original Vision. It's his body that we last left off in Infinity War, that Hayward and the Agents of S.W.O.R.D. were going ahead and building together. I do gotta say, I am loving how clean this version of White Vision looks. The boy with the touches of gold and even the turquoise on top. Like, come on guys, I need your opinions in the comments section. Are you for the colored or for the whites? I'm going with the whites. But jokes aside, one thing that we learned about this White Vision is, of course, as of right now, he didn't have any of the memories of previous Vision. He was just programmed by S.W.O.R.D. to go after Vision and destroy him. The Vision inside Westview went ahead and opened his mind and let him know, dude, you're actually the real Vision. Unlocking his mind and giving him all the memories of the Vision we know and love and followed in the movies, which as soon as that happened and that became the old Vision, I knew Westview Vision was not going to be making it out of this episode, and they weren't going to do what I theorized, and that is fuse the two things together, put the mind of Westview Vision in the body of real life Vision. One interesting thing to note though is we do get to see White Vision's eyes turn more human-like from what we recognize the real Vision to be like, and if he still has the shape-shifting abilities of Vision, he should be able to go back to his full-colored self, but he doesn't really seem to do that. He just flies off, and then we know nothing of this android, and it looks like he goes disappearing or MIA for a while, because several months later, when Spider-Man Far From Home takes place, they have a memorial memorial saying that Vision is dead. So it looks like the public doesn't know that White Vision is out there, probably hiding in plain sight, shapeshifting as a human, or looking for answers he just can't solve right now. Continuing on with the train of getting answers that might disappoint us a little bit, we got treated to where Monica Rambeau was taken by the end of WandaVision episode 7, where we had fake Pietro, or now as we know him to be, Ralph. It turns out, like a lot of people were theorizing, Evan Peters' character was Ralph all along. Not only that, his last name is Ralph Boner. Ralph Boner! We were hoping for multiverse, cross-dimensional jumping, introducing the X-Men, and they gave us a boner joke. Yo, okay, MCU, them trolls gotta stop, okay? This might come off very disappointing to some people, and I completely understand, because I feel like this kind of reveal, and now tossing it aside and finally confirming this version of Evan Peters playing Quicksilver is 100% not the version from the Fox universe. He wasn't pulled out of that reality just to be fake Quicksilver for Wanda. If anything, it seems like he might have been the person in witness protection, which is why they had that photo sort of police style, and was the guy that Jimmy Woo was originally looking for. But to answer the question of why he was under this mind control and where his powers were coming from of super speed, it was all thanks to that horrible puka necklace that I'm so glad finally got ripped off his body. To then only again, as soon as that happens and he comes to, we know nothing about this character. He disappears like a fart in the wind. I was hoping that they could explain that maybe he still had his powers, that he was going to be able to go ahead and run around and help towards the ending battle. But it seemed as soon as that puka necklace got taken off, so did the powers that Agatha granted him. As things started to heat up in the middle of the episode and Agnes is revealing more truths to Wanda that kind of hurt her status as a hero is, yeah, she was the one in control of everybody's minds in Westview, filling their heads with these fake personalities, controlling their day-to-day lives, and even as far as them saying that when they sleep that night, they had Wanda's nightmares. It was even so dark that these people would have rather died than stayed as puppets in Westview, and my mind was like, Marvel, how are you doing this to Wanda? You really turning her villain status here. But as a last-ditch effort, Wanda goes ahead and breaks down the barrier of Westview to let all the pedestrians out so they can be free, confirming what we all believe, that without Westview, the twins and Vision would not be able to survive. This left me real puzzled when I was first watching it, because I was like, okay, how are they going to keep these kids? There's no way you're just introducing them for WandaVision and then just going to let these guys disappear along with Westview. But I think some of the most clever parts of WandaVision is when Wanda is at her wit's end fighting against Agnes, and we think that she's just given up, letting her absorb all her magic. She pulls a 180 on her and uses Agnes's own spell against her that we got to see in WandaVision episode 8, where Wanda was trapped and could not use her magic outside of that area thanks to the ruins. I thought that was really smart, and also goes to show how much more powerful Wanda could be if she actually takes the time to learn this magic, which even Agnes herself says, like, you don't know what you've done, okay? You're gonna need someone like me to teach you, to help you out, because you just unlock some crazy stuff here. Which to me, every time Agnes was mentioning, no, I need to teach you, I need to show you, I'm like, no, we got a Sorcerer Supreme that's gonna do that for you, honey. Leaving Wanda to just put a spell on Agnes, making her the nosy neighbor permanently in Westview. I think this still applies even after the bubble of Westview goes away. Agnes is gonna be stuck in this incantation where she just decides to live in Westview and continues to be this nosy neighbor as if she was still living the sitcom life. Wanda's magic is powerful enough to be working on autopilot, as they mentioned, so I could see this very much being the case, and it still opens the door for Agnes to come back in the future if they decide to bring her back. If not, she'll just always be going ahead rummaging around in Westview. But alas, before we get to the end credit and post-credit scenes and what they could mean for the future of the MCU, we came to the conclusion of what had to happen, and that is Wanda finally letting go of her reality, saying goodbye to her children, and also the Vision she grew to love in Westview. I thought this was actually done pretty beautifully, and it really kind of hit home with the theme of the show. I did get a little emotional watching it there just because of everything that Wanda went through. What did surprise me though is even after the bubble was all fixed up and they all went away, I really thought Wanda was gonna go ahead and turn herself in and be like, look, yes, I did torture these people for about a week. I did some destruction. I did wrong. I need to be held accountable, but instead, she just gets to go scotch-free, and Hayward is the one that gets to be arrested, which, hey, he definitely deserves to be arrested. The boy tried to shoot the twins like, man, I can't believe I stuck up for you in the early episodes. Making me look bad. I'm some sort of devil or something? But now getting to the post-credit scene and end credit scene, because they went ahead and gave us two. The first one is more directly tied into what we're going to be seeing in Captain Marvel 2. That's where we have S.W.O.R.D. finally going ahead and bringing some aid to the people of Westview, seeing if there was anything they needed. And then Monica Rambeau gets taken to the theater where she's introduced to a scroll. I gotta say, this isn't one we are familiar with or the same one that we got to see at the end of Far From Home with Talos. This just seems to be a dispensable scroll to send messages around. She does go ahead and mention that I'm a friend from your mother sent here for you, and the only connection I can see there is Captain Marvel herself, played by Brie Larson, asking her to come aboard in space to help her out with whatever mission and whatever is going on that's going to be involving Captain Marvel 2, because Kevin Feige has already confirmed that not only is Monica Rambeau going to be part of that movie, we also have Miss Marvel, and we're seeing her show later this year. I don't want to sound ungrateful or bad, but it definitely wasn't a post-credit scene that made me jump out of my chair or really go, oh wow, because we've already had the post-credit scene where we had Skrulls reveal themselves and give us a little information. Heck, it was very similar to the post-credit scene that we got in Spider-Man Far From Home, where it's like, oh, there's a Skrull and there's something going on in space. Still, the end credit scene did definitely make up for it. While I was hoping to see another cameo or some sort of big Marvel hero step in there, like maybe a Doctor Strange, instead we get to see Wanda go ahead and take a little advice from Bruce Banner, the Edward Norton Bruce Banner, and head off to a cabin out in the middle of nowhere to kind of harness her powers and learn more about herself. What we got to see is something that we've seen Doctor Strange do multiple times in his movies, where he separates his physical body from his spiritual body. And in the same way Doctor Strange was spending so much time learning about his version of magic, Wanda right here is spending some time to learn about her magic. The only thing is, she's learning the most deadliest, darkest spells from the Darkhold. Don't forget, this thing is like the most evil book in the MCU, and that's the first thing she decides to read to learn about spells in the MCU. The also important detail I want you guys to notice is when Doctor Strange separates his spiritual self from his physical body cannot move at all. It goes to sleep. It passes out. For Wanda, she's so powerful, her physical body can still go ahead, move around, and do mundane tasks like feed herself, do some chores, clean around the house, while she's still also learning at a spiritual level. That again just goes to show you how much more powerful Wanda is compared to Doctor Strange and why they need to meet up to kind of tame this thing. But that wasn't even the juiciest part here, because we got hints that the twins, Billy and Tommy, are still alive and out there. And boy, I don't care. I'm dying on this hill. Mephisto's got them kids, y'all. We get to hear Billy and Tommy yell out for their mother, meaning that they are still alive and out there, but they are being held hostage. Because their introduction into the comic books meant that Mephisto was out there because they were going to be a sacrifice for him to bring him to life, and that's why we all had theorized that the same thing would happen. And would be a way to tie in Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man 3 that is set to also deal with the multiverse. If not, their answer is right there. Instead of ending up with Mephisto in hell or something like that, the kids instead got sent to another universe, and that's what Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness has to deal with. Wanda coming to Doctor Strange and going, look, I gave birth to a couple of twins in this world. They're lost in the multiverse. Can you help me find them? And along the way, we're going to see multiple versions of MCU characters, like a different version of Iron Man and Captain America, probably even seeing the Spider People. Either way, this post-credit scene made me happy because it made me realize the twins are still out there. They're gonna bring them back to life some way, form, or another, and they didn't just disappear with Westview. Look, when it comes down to it and summarizing my entire thoughts on WandaVision, I did like the show. I was really happy with it. I thought the MCU gave us something very beautiful and heartwarming, but my thoughts on the finale were that it did feel very rushed. I'm not trying to be one of those people who was like disappointed because my fan theories didn't come true. I could care less. People at Marvel are way smarter than me, so whatever they decided to do is what's best for the MCU, and I'm not upset at all that Mephisto didn't show up or Evan Peters didn't become the Quicksilver from the Fox universe. But I did feel like this finale just felt rushed, like they just tried to answer all the questions they could for the final episode, when maybe they could have spaced out some of the answers in episode 8 and episode 7 without having to feel this just rush-packed feeling, because even the final battle with Agnes didn't feel all that impactful. The two Visions fighting did feel kind of awesome, but that also ended quickly, and even the wrap-up and the way the show ended with Wanda flying off, it just didn't feel as satisfying as I would have loved, along with also not feeling complete, which I know it's probably going to end on a cliffhanger because they got to conclude this story in the movies. But nonetheless, I still really like WandaVision. I think it's a good start for Marvel, and hopefully they just get better from here and don't keep doing this thing where they just tease and tease and tease and then rush everything into one package for the final episode. But how did you guys feel about the end of WandaVision? Did you like it? Were you disappointed? Were you happy with it? Don't be forgetting to like and subscribe so you can be entered to win one of the t-shirts here and that Funko Pop of Billy and Tommy. As well, guys, I'll be jumping on to the Film Strippers channel. That is the podcast channel, where we'll be diving even deeper into the spoilers and what this could mean for the MCU. So if you have any questions for the end of WandaVision that you want me to answer, go ahead and leave them down below and I'll bring them up on the podcast channel later today. But as always, my name is Chris. Take care.